Thanks, Nick. And thank you for the evening and a great group to be with. And I also want to thank you for the theme, which apparently we don't have to take seriously, and apparently I did, because I thought a lot about ever since, and just the idea of time and change and maybe pivot points in life. And it occurred to me that, people go through pivot points probably beginning a toddler, first time I walked, I'm not going back home. So there can happen, these pivot points can happen at different points in life. And I decided to take two sections. One is, let's see, the first one is from my novel, and the second one is from a collection of short stories I'm currently working on. And look at two different points in life when you kind of cross a threshold, and ever since, things are different. The first one is with 20-year-olds, about in that range. And the pivot point is making a huge decision to spend the night. So this starts with, it's called washcloths. I am thinking today about boyfriends and how they can teach you a thing or two. I am thinking specifically of my boyfriend Ben Adams and what he once taught me about washcloths, an issue on which we initially disagreed. That is to say, Ben Adams, when I met him, did not keep one single washcloth. He did not in the least believe in one. It was a sign, or so I thought then, of something to keep an eye on, an early warning of some covert feral state or general vagabond listing. To be fair, it's been an issue with other men I have known. They did not use washcloths either. I do not, you know them. I do not fully know why this is. It could be there is something unmasculine, or maybe just anticlimactic, about standing in the full force of a hot, sudsy shower, naked in your suit, vigorously rubbing at armpit and chest, shaking back water into the light, enjoying it all immensely, and then stopping to dab with a small wet rag. I do not have a feel for the gender implications of washcloths. I just know that when men are left to themselves, men who are single and live mostly alone, often in one-bedroom apartments, these men are unlikely to stock washcloths, which makes it difficult if you are to stay over some night and find in the morning you have nothing to bathe with but soap. You manage, of course, you figure it out, but it is not the same, and a small thing, I think, to ask a man to keep a few washcloths handy. Not that Ben Adams and I were planning a sleepover and shower. This waking mornings together is a step I do not take lightly with men, at least with the general majority. The prospect has always seemed too unsettling, and then again far too subtle. So it was not something I was inclined toward right off the bat with Ben, although the topic did one day come up, a topic related, as I was getting to washcloths. That day, Ben and I had met at his house, then gone for a very long hike. Ben knew how to dress for hiking. He had on good boots and his favorite old Bob Marley t-shirt. I myself had come ill-equipped. I'd worn sandals. And when at last we returned, I headed straight for his bathroom to wash the bloody blisters on my feet. Ben, I called, searching the cabinets. Ben, where are the washcloths? Washcloths, he called back. You want washcloths? As though this were some new vocabulary word he needed to try in a sentence. I should mention Ben Adams is not a man who is intent on housekeeping details. He has, for instance, not bothered with the matter of sheets. I know this because I have seen the sleeping bag draped the length of his bed. With the sleeping bag open on top of a bed, you can lie down and just zip it up. You do not really need sheets for the sleeping bag. Still, there is no true substitute for a washcloth. And so washcloths, I walked out of the bathroom and said, "We need washcloths here, bud." "Right," Ben replied, and shrugged and said he would look into it, by which I knew he would not. It was the same night then, after we'd lain in the grass to watch stars, that Ben Adams proposed I spend the night at his house. It was late, my drive home. He could make up the bed. "No, Ben," I said, though when he kissed me and whispered and asked in a whisper, was I sure, I could leave right at dawn if I wanted, and started to slide his hand down my side, asking again, was I sure? I knew that probably I wasn't. Still, "No, Ben," I said, and grasping at straws, reminded him he kept no washcloths. Which was the night, or rather the morning, I learned it is possible to shower while scrubbing one's back with a vintage 1980 Bob Marley World Tour t-shirt. later, probably it hits people at different times, but 40, 50, somewhere in there. When the relationship changes with parent and child, the caretaking relationship especially. So this is called police report. There is in our town a small man who licks sidewalks. We have none of us seen him firsthand. We know of him only through the police. That is, each day the paper in town prints a list of reports from our local police, and sometimes there is mention of a man up to something strange. Always he is described as small, of slight build. Often he is dressed in black. Many of us now follow our police reports closely, scanning for sightings of this dark little man. The reports do not stop just at allegations of licking. Occasionally they make note of a small man in black, sitting in the middle of roads. Once he was spotted lying in a backyard, once sitting in a tree in Fairfield. And recently there have been reports of a man leading along the highway into town. It is true we do not know they are the same man, the one licking sidewalks and the one in the tree. We do not know for certain because always the man or men accused of these things are gone by the time police arrive. We are disappointed in our police. We are a small town, no place here takes long to arrive at, and we think our police could try harder. Just once they could catch this little man in the act. I entertain my father with these sightings. My father is a great reader of newspapers, a follower of police reports on his own, and normally he would read the accounts for himself. But my father is lately dying of cancer. Steadily it is wresting the life from him, seizing his gut, bleaching muscle and bone. My father now cries out late in the night. It leaves him little time for the news. He says, however, he does not mind if I read a few police reports aloud. So I read to my father most days now. I sit by the window in the front room, with my father nearby in his chair. A small man was seen crawling along Benton uptown. A man was seen sweeping Lawrence Road, and I stopped in to offer an opinion. I tell my father I believe they are the same person, that all these accounts are really due just to one man. I point out the size of our town. I say as a percentage of population, there could not be so many men given to strange acts of public paving. I say I think it is someone new in town, and I add I would like very much to meet him, to see this licking of sidewalks for myself. I acknowledge, however, there are people in town who think it is more than just one man. I say we are of two camps here. My father, not one to be swayed by public opinion, says he too cannot believe there are multiple men crawling along the ground of this town. But neither does he think it is a single small man. He is convinced it is just a person who has taken to reporting these things to police, who severely lacks for attention, or who believes it is what he or she has just seen, but who is, in my father's view, fatty as hell. My father thinks it is also someone old and lonely. My father is old and sometimes lonely, but he likes pointing out others who are older and lonelier. It makes him feel not so much of either. It takes his mind off the dime. So today again I open the paper. Well now, I say, here is news. A small man in a black cape was sighted last night leaping from roof to roof. I give my father a look, but he sits now, head down. I keep my eye on him. I do not glance back at the page. I have never, truth be told, needed the page. Well, and here I say, there is this. Today a small man dressed all in black was seen selling pies door to door. I watch my father, I smile. I hope now he will look up and smile too. We will shake our heads, we will tell each other, this time the little man has gone too far. We will say, what could that man be thinking? We will have ourselves a good laugh. Keep reading, my father says.